What's going on, everybody? We back with another video. What a crazy week. We had so much bullish pressure. This is why I say that you have to stay on the side of the trend, and you have to recognize when we're bullish, and you have to stay bullish until the price and the charts tell you otherwise. All dependent on what time frame are you trading, right? If you're a scalper, then this doesn't really matter to you. You're looking more for the small movements. But even at that, you still need to know the most stronger side of the market, right? So now we're gonna take a look at the SPY charts real fast, and then we're gonna get into some different tickers that I think have the best risk to reward and have activity for the week, right? So here we go. We have the SPY right here. I have a weekly chart up, and now we're drawing the box out of this weekly chart. So right here you can clearly see that we have a downtrend, the breakout. So now you have the low and the first rejection, which is the high of the box. And what I want you to notice is that we're starting to peak above this high of this box, right? So we're getting higher highs and higher lows. But what I want you to notice the most is this room that we have to the upside, right? On the longer time frames. So this is where, if we trade above 420, this is where I would tell, like, obviously not financial advice for you guys, but this is where I would tell, like, my aunt, my grandma, and the people that have no idea what to put their money in. I would say, hey, it's a good time to start putting your money in the S&P as long as we hold 420. If we break below 420, then I'm no longer gonna tell them to do that, right? So I would say, hey, granny, over 420, once I see that, I'd be like, hey, I think you should put your money in SPY, right? Or you can have an entry signal on the weekly, and using your entry signal based on your strategy, you can also enter that way. Now remember, this isn't financial advice, but that's what I would tell my grandma. So what I want you to notice is that we're starting to peak above this box here, and this level seems pretty significant of 420, right? So now that we see that, we can go back down to the daily chart, and you can see right here that the next resistance is coming up at 426, right? 424, 426 area. Once we get past this 426 area, 425, 426, I would like to see a bullish close above here, and then we have all this room from 426 all the way up to 450, right? So that's roughly $25. So if you look at this, we've really been going sideways here. We came back down, retraced a few days, and now we're seeing bullish pressure, right? So this is one day back outside of the box. So what we really want to see now is follow through, right, on the daily chart. So what does that mean? That means that on Tuesday, because the market's closed Monday, we would like to see the price open and maybe retrace a little bit and trade much higher. If we got lower, then I would like to see very little selling at the beginning and then a push higher immediately, right? So you can get 2 days, kind of like you see over here, like you see right there. So you see those 2 days there. This is the kind of action that I want to see coming out of the box. So if you notice, this candle here could be replicated right here. So what you don't want to see is the SPY trade and come below this 414 area, right? This is danger for SPY. Now we can start going down. So I want to see a bullish push, and then when we get up here, we're probably going to go sideways a little bit, and then we're going to get another bullish push that's going to put us in this area here where we have room to the upside, right? So that being said, you have to be prepared for both sides of the market, and you have to know what side are we trending towards, right? So here we have a downside, move to the side, and then we see a bullish breakout right here, which was what we saw Friday morning, right? It was very fast, it was very brutal, and if you didn't catch that train, then you spent the whole day waiting for another push, right? And they tend to make these moves in the beginning because it catches a lot of traders off guard. Doesn't always happen that way, but that's what we've seen in history, right? So now we want to break above this here and have a bullish push to the upside. So the most I'll give this is till right here, right? And if we get below this box, then obviously 414 is the level I'm looking for. So we had the last consolidation. So if we came back down and we tested this level here at 415, I wouldn't be so mad. But ultimately, I don't even want it to get close to this box, right? So bullish ideas. I have a list set up here for Monday's bullish ideas. I'm going to go back to the daily chart. I want to see if there's room to set up a risk to reward. And I want to be able to assess that risk, right? So right here, we have Amazon. So Amazon is going to be a big watch for me. And the reason I'm saying that it's going to be a big watch for me is because we have this big downtrend that was coming down here. And then we see that Amazon broke out in a huge way, right? I like it here better. Yeah, so broke out, retest, came to this level, which is the swing highs, right, of this downtrend. And we can see that it tested this level here. Then if I zoom in here, we have a pause, and then a breakout, and then another pause, sideways action, and then a breakout on Friday. So we have resistance coming up here at 125. So you can take this trade once we get room here, right? So I mean, you could put on a starter position if you're trading on smaller time frames, like the 30-minute, right? So we have a bull flag here, and you can take a trade over 121, knowing that we have some resistance coming up here at 125. So this will be a day trade for me until we get above this 125 area where we have more room to the upside of at least $10, right? So that's what I'm looking at here at Amazon. We're going to move on with MRVL, Marvel Technology. So we see that there's a lot of bullish action here, but now we're coming up against this resistance at 66. So once again, you see the bullish action here. You check to see if there's resistance coming up, right? And then after this level here of 66, we have room all the way up to 75. So then I would go into the lower time frame here, and I would wait for a pause like this to get involved, or I would use an entry signal so that I can set my risk to reward properly, my 3 to 1 risk, knowing where the next resistance is key. So the stock is bullish. You see the next resistance. The risk to reward is there. You have an entry signal. You enter. You put in your stop loss, and that's the way that you play the game, right? AMD and NVIDIA has just been killing it. I know that it feels like, wow, like how much more can it go? But the truth is that I would treat this as a day trade until we get a next pause. But we have no reason to think that this has to reverse or that it has to come back. In reality, you can see that we are just going up, honestly. And then we have all this room right now after this 127 area all the way up to 160. So I mean, you just have to play it as it's going. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no real good setup here, but this is so strong that you have to like get involved somehow, right? So even if it's just day trading, you have to get involved with the stock, and you have to have it on your list, because right now this is what's moving the market. NVIDIA has actually a little bit of a better setup than AMD because it's actually consolidating right here. So then when we get a break above 394, 395 here, right, then you can see more continuation to the upside. So we have Apple here getting really close to the all-time highs, and I really can't see this reversing before getting to the all-time highs. We actually are at this resistance right here of 175, and then we have 178, ultimately getting to the all-time high. So if you look at Apple here, after this downtrend, this is a really strong push, and the last time we saw a strong push like this was right here. I would be surprised to see if this pulls back like it did over here. I really don't see that happening. But, you know, let the charts tell you exactly what's going on. Right now we're bullish. Right now we're consolidating over this level here. We have room basically to get to all-time highs. So the next run could be to all-time highs, and then maybe we can see a reversal then. But for the meantime, just keep an eye on the charts. Know where your resistance is, know what you have to do, right? It's about being prepared and having a plan for both sides of the market. So you can see here, we had this movement push up here, sideways, and then another push up, and now we're going sideways, hopefully looking for the next push up. Now this is going to be a test right here, 176. And then ultimately, once we get to 180, I believe all-time high is where? Yeah, so 180 is the all-time high, and we're trying to see if we can get at least to 182. So this looks like consolidation here, but usually around the top, these candles start getting smaller. So we're also seeing that play out here. But these reversals were pretty clean. So if we look at historical data here, when we get to this resistance, the reversals are pretty clean. We're not really seeing that right now. If we get above 176, I'm really bullish on Apple. I can really see a push to all-time highs and a continuation from there. So the market's really bullish right now, like really, really bullish. And there's no reason for us to be looking for spots to say, okay, this is the top. Calling out tops is a losing game, okay? So we have AI on this list. First, they had a spike like this. Let's see if this week is going to be another reversal like this one, right? So this is a stock that's been getting a lot of attention, obviously because of NVIDIA and AMD. So this is what I'm looking at too. So we also have Microsoft. We have Google. Google has some room to the next resistance. Let's go back to the daily chart. Yeah, Google has some room to the next resistance. So right here is the test, right? You can see the support, previous support, now resistance right here. So once we get past this 126, then we have room at least to 136. And then after that, we have 143. Wow. MU has a lot of buying pressure here. Obviously, this is a test right here at 75. So over 75, I would look for the next pause so that you can get involved in the stock and you can assess your risk to reward. Right? It's all about risk to reward, repeating the steps, and know that you have an edge that plays out in the long term. So you have to think long term every time you're trading. So right here we have Meta. Meta's super bullish also. Definitely has to be on your list. You can see a pattern here where you have earnings, a gap up, and a retracement, and then a move higher. Earnings, a gap up, a retracement, and then a move higher. And now we have earnings coming up. We have earnings coming up in June 23rd. So we have time to get maybe all the way up here and then see what those earnings bring us. So Meta should be on your bullish list as well. We have Netflix here. Netflix is finally getting above this top here. So this is the test. You have a bull flag, a pattern, whatever you want to call it, and this is the previous high. So now we have to punch through the previous high. So on my list, I really like Netflix for a strong breakout on Tuesday. I also was looking at coin, right? Because we have the market going up, and looking at Bitcoin, usually when the market starts getting this bullish, you can see Bitcoin also making a move. So looking at Bitcoin here, I had drawn out this downtrend, right? Then a breakout, sideways action, then a breakout, retest. So now we're looking for the next push on Bitcoin. So this usually follows the market, and if it breaks back inside of this box, then that's bearish for Bitcoin, and it's also bearish for the market, in my opinion, right? It's just funny how these two have been correlating for the last few years, and you know, I don't really see too many people talking about that, but that's just something that I've noticed. So because Bitcoin is bullish here, this is why I was talking about coin. So if you look at coin's been selling off and downtrend, and now we're going sideways, right? And if we go to the smaller time frame inside of this box, you can see that we've been consolidating for about 2 weeks. So we had this uptrend consolidation. Now we're at the bottom of the box, and I'm looking for a push up and then a continuation to the upside if the market remains bullish, right? So coin is a lagger here, right? Coin is a lagger, and so is probably, what is it, Mara and all the other Bitcoin followers. So that's something to keep an eye on, the crypto stocks, right? We have UPST. So right here, we were breaking out, came back, retested, couldn't make above previous high, and now we came back in the box. So this is kind of looking bearish right now, but there's been a lot of buying, right? We have this popping up here. So we have the month with all this buying, and then when we look at the weekly, we can see we had 3 weeks of straight buying, right? So let's see if this is just a retest, and then the next week we're going to take off on UPST. So keep UPST on the top of your list, okay? And that's coin, UPST, Netflix, and I also like D-Dog. So D-Dog is kind of like the same thing. This is the weekly chart. You can see this downtrend here, the last resistance, and it finally got out of this box. So if we go down to the daily chart and I draw this out here, you can basically see this downtrend, sideways action, and now we are consolidating, and we still have room until the next resistance. So over 97, you can see it get to 107. So that's a pretty good risk to reward there, right? So you can set it up that way, and 107 is the target. So I would keep that on my list also, right? So I mean, that's about it, guys. This is the bearish list here. We have PayPal. So PayPal broke down out of this box. So now we can actually take this and put it here, because we have a continuation outside of this box, which makes this box invalid now. So this was just sideways action until the next breakout. So now we're looking for PayPal to push from here, 59, all the way down to about 41, right? So I mean, this is a pretty good risk to reward too. So this is a bearish stock with bearish order flow, and now we're breaking down. So this would be on my bearish list, right? Then we have Disney. Disney is also looking to break down under this box. So once it breaks down under this box, now we can take this and put it up here once it breaks under the box. But because this was our previous low and it's the lowest low, this is what's going on right now. So this is the top, the bottom. Let's see what happens with Disney, right? We got XOM. So XOM is also in this sideways box. It tried to break out. It failed at the 21 moving average. And now we see if we get a continuation to the downside. So I'm expecting this to open a little higher, push up, catch all the bulls, and then push all the way down to this 102 area. So I would have XOM on the top of my list for bearish plays, right? For bearish plays. Then we have Target. Target is at a 3-time support, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so right here, we have what looks like support over here, and now support over here. So this is a big level for Target, right? But as you can see, the last earnings wasn't that good. So let's see if the bulls come in here. And if we don't, and we break down under this level, we're looking from 134 all the way down to 120. So that's a $14 move. And even if we break to the upside, and you see a pattern that you like, that you can take to the upside, even though this is a bearish stock, this is a pretty good support here. So keep an eye on Target also. If you want, you can pause this and take a picture of all these tickers that I have here. These are all bearish, and it's important that you know what bearish looks like, and that you should be only trading a bearish stock in a bearish direction. Okay, so I mean, that's it, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing Memorial Day weekend, and until Tuesday, because Monday the market's closed. Thanks for watching, and until next time.